good, YouTube? It's Marco! Beam! Back with another video, man. Thank you, Jesus, for allowing us to be here another day. We are back. Well, actually, this is our first, I guess you would say, watch of Hockey Psychology's weekly recap. Before the video starts, real quick, if you want me to react to a specific game from Saturday that you thought maybe was great, comment down below real quick and let me know, and I'll go and react to that. But I figured it was going to be talked about in this Hockey Psychology video. So then I'm like, I'm going to watch this first. But it says the NHL season is off to a wild start. Let's not waste no more time. Let's go ahead and get into the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because about 75% of my viewers aren't subscribed. So hit that subscribe button for me. Let's get into it.
It is week 1 of the NHL season. We're back, baby, and we're already off to a wild start. Tendies are letting in goals from center. The boys are eager to drop the mitts and throw the body,
a couple of these fights.
Teams are already getting...
This is crazy. This is crazy. It's crazy because I reacted to a Red Wings video the other day. I think it was against the Leafs, or it was somebody else. But they I had like a little mini rant because of the effort that I was seeing like from their team. I didn't like the effort. But this right here is wild. This right here is wild. I hope they get it fixed, though.
Called out as the NHL has returned. Week 1 was packed. So let's take a look at everything that happened to kick off this season.
Okay.
Now, right away, we start off the week cooking, and why not, eh? Just jump right into it. Game started Tuesday, but Monday was the day where everything started to heat up, and boy, did it ever. First, Connor McDavid is Connor McDavid. He signs a 2-year extension at $12.5 million AAV. That's the same damn deal he's got right now, and yeah, you heard that right. $12.5 million. Ladies and gentlemen, hug your closest Leaf fan. They're in shambles hearing that news, and also congratulate Oilers fans because this means the window is extended. The biggest hometown discount ever because the man wants to win more than anything on this planet.
Wow.
McJesus has put the league on notice with this deal. 3 more years to win in Edmonton or else he's pretty much as good as gone. Then, the Department of Panther Safety steps right out to lay down the law. On the weekend, the Panthers and Lightning went to a fight and the preseason hockey game broke out. A combined 13 ejections.
Wait. Did this happen Friday? I could have swore I did not see a Panthers video Friday and they played the Lightning.
In this game, both benches looked like an 11 p.m. beer league game. The league dropped the hammer, suspending Tampa's J.J. Moser and Scott Saborn for 2 games after things got a little bit greasy during the preseason.
Wow.
These 2 teams
this
hate each other. It's awesome. Give me all the violence.
This is preseason? They're going crazy like that in the preseason?
These 2 teams this season. I love it. The Battle of Florida is alive. And that was just Monday. The puck hadn't even dropped yet, but it all started on Tuesday with a triple header, and kicking off the season are the defending champs in the Panthers and the Chicago Bedards. Chicago is looking to get rid of that name this season, so out of the gate comes Frankie Nazar. Signs a big ticket in the summer, gets a B-way, and scores the first goal of the NHL season.
We reacted to that one.
Too all night. He had 2 points in the game. Florida says, all right, let's dig in here. We got a tilt in game 1. Fire me up. AJ Greer versus Nick Foligno. Couple rights, couple lefts. Sit for 5 minutes and then move on. Best player in this one, though, was Spencer Knight. Being a goaltender on Chicago is a fate I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. But
he had a hell of a game. Bro. Bro, the Panthers was pressuring the Blackhawks all night, bro. He had a hell of a game. He
was dynamite. He made some huge saves to keep the Hawks in this one. He stopped 34 of 37 shots, but it still wasn't enough. Typical Blackhawks fashion. Jesper Boquist becomes Jose Canseco, bats it out of the air. That's the game winner. The whole league remains sick to their stomach watching Brad Marchand celebrate by getting rats shot at him defending cup champs, take the 2 points and say suck it. Next was the Penguins and the Rangers. Two teams who royally disappointed their fans last season are in for a Rochambeau. JT Miller, the 29th captain in Rangers history, leads the boys out, and that's about all the cheering Rangers fans did in this one. The Penguins, who are in full rebuild mode, come in and shut out their former coach Mike Sullivan.
Wow.
Everyone is talking about Sid's future coming into this season, but how about Geno Malkin? 2 assists in this one for him. He had some pep in the step. It's going to be hilarious when he becomes a Panther for a 6th-round pick at the deadline this year. Artur Silov's also looked really good. He gets the first shutty of the season. Pittsburgh keeps Shanghai Jerry on the bench, and it pays off with a 3-0 win. That means Dan Hughes picks up his first win as a head coach, while the Rangers lay an absolute egg in their home opener. A lot of people have the Rangers bouncing back this year, but that was a stinker, not a good start. Finally, it's the Kings versus the Avs. Big boy West hockey right away here. Josh the Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, we watched this one
dummies.
too.
Warren Fogle. Jeff Mallett steps right up, says, no, sir, you cannot do that. We're dropping them. The Avs, though, they look good all around in this game. They got their cap back with Gabriel Landeskog playing his first regular season game in 3.5 years, and the big boys all got their cookies in this one. The Nate Dogg, 2 apples, passes Joe Sakic for most points in Avs history. Then you got Marty Necas, who still needs a new deal for next season, so he goes off for 2 goals and says, get my damn agent on the phone. Makar is still a slick Rick out there, dancing by wingers on the blue line as the Avs win 4-1. We are high-stepping out of the gate here for the first night of hockey. It's so good to be back, and that means we can finally go to meaningful games again, thanks to our friends at SeatGeek.
What a beautiful ad. That was beautiful.
Getting a good deal. Sponsoring our weekly recaps this year, and now we can get into the mix for Wednesday's games. Starting off Wednesday was the Leafs versus the Habs. Expectations are still huge for both of these teams. The Leafs are trying to prove that they will somehow be better without Mitch Marner, while the Habs are trying to take the next step after a good last season. We jump right into this one 2-2. Halfway through the third, Morgan Rielly on the doorstep gives Toronto the lead, and he needs a big season after a tough year. To me, he looked like Toronto's best player all night, aside from Anthony Stolarz, who was also solid in between the pipes, stopping 29 of 31. The big boys and Matthews and Nylander all got their cookies on empty netters, and yet the Yacht Club at Scotiabank Arena was the loudest it was all night when they showed the Jays scoring on the Jumbotron. There was no way the Yacht Club was getting that loud for the Leafs. The city of Toronto is already in parade mode, and the Leafs winning the home opener keeps the party going. Moving on to Boston versus Washington. Alexander Ovechkin, the new goal-scoring GOAT, heads into what might be his final season in the NHL. Boston, on the other hand, are coming off one of the most miserable seasons in their last 20 years, but David Pastrnak is a man possessed. Over the last 3 seasons, he scored a combined 138 points over the next highest scorer on his team. This man is the very definition of most valuable player to his team, and he's off to another hot start. He scores the first goal of the game. Tommy Boy Wilson tries to get the Caps going by steamrolling a guy, but pasta was on the menu tonight. He adds another 2 assists, casual 3-point night for him. Boston looked pretty solid under new head coach Marco Sturm. It could be a sleeper this year with everyone healthy and in camp. But
shout out to the Bruins. That's my girl and the like, ain't it? That's my girl and the like. That's her team.
It's the first game. Relax. Then it's a new era in Vegas.
Okay,
Mitch
this one I'm excited to
see.
see.
As a Golden Knight this year. This one was a little bit of a barn burner. It's not often you see 2 teams blow separate 2-goal leads in the same game. Kings take a 5-minute penalty, and Pavel score a 3-of, gets 2 to complete the Hattie. Buddy had 35 tucks last season. Fantasy steal, if you ask me. But then the Knights started feeling it, and Mitch Marner shows Vegas what he does best. Cheeky little slip pass that's gorgeous right to Eichel. He signed an 8-year, $13.5 million extension before the game. How about that for a night? That top line started buzzing in the latter half, but the Kings tie it back up. It goes to a shootout. Marner needs to score to keep Vegas alive, and he doesn't. Leaf fans say we've seen all that before, but the Kings take it after a ballsy effort. Finally, it's the Battle of Alberta. Connor McDavid gets a nice standing ovation after agreeing to be paid minimum wage to be an Oiler, and he...
Yo, he be killing me, though. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I can psychologists be killing. He said after agreeing to be paid minimum wage.
Comes out cooking. 2 points right out of the gate. The power play's looking lethal. Mangiapane, that Italian stallion, is looking like a good fit. But if you know the Flames, they're always in for a dogfight just like last season. They get 1, 2, and then Skinner with a hand-tossed pizza right to Blake Coleman. Just leaves it on a platter for him to poke it home right between the wickets. Bouchard's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? It's a tie game, and if it wasn't for the Wolfpack Dustin Wolf, Edmonton would have won this in regulation or an OT. Instead, it's 8 rounds of a shootout later. Nazem Kadri says enough, forehand, backhand, twine. Let's go home. Flames come back after being down 3-0 in a dog of a win. McDavid's brilliance is...
Dang! Oh, man, where's... what's my guy's name? Is it Jasper? Is Jasper? He's ain't he a Flames fan? Oh man! Somebody should have reacted. Somebody should have told me to watch that one. Down 3-0,
overshadowed by mediocre goaltending. However, Thursday was the day that things truly got rolling here. 14 games on, our first Bettman special of the year with no games on Friday. So let's kick it into high gear.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Islanders, Penguins, the highly anticipated first overall pick. Matthew Schaefer makes his NHL debut. Kid looked pretty damn good for someone who turned 18 a month ago. He gets his first NHL point after a silky feed to Jonathan Drouin. He's the youngest defenseman to score a point in the expansion era. Islanders fans love hearing that. The Penguins, though, they're already ruining their lottery chances because Justin Brazeau and Evgeny Malkin are on fire. Brazeau's finest gets the second game winner in a row. Malkin, another goal and 2 assists. The guy can't wait to be a Panther. Penguins
I don't mind those,
keep the change. On to the Habs versus
decent.
Red Wings. Is this finally the year the Yzer plan works and Detroit doesn't royally fumble getting into the playoffs? Well, getting Tendy John Gibson should help. This man has been in trade rumors since before the First World War, and he finally makes his debut for another team in Detroit, only to get absolutely lit up. 5 goals on 13 shots. The Yzer plan is looking like the Yzer sham. 9 years ago, playoff hockey in Detroit makes me sick, and this start is even worse.
This game. This is the game I watched.
They look good, though, especially Jakub Dobiš. Now, speaking of long-term playoff droughts, bad starts, and utter disappointments, the Buffalo Sabres lay a nice fat egg in their home opener. The Rangers hit them with the Uno reverse card and shut out the Sabres 4-0. JT Miller picks up his first goal as Rangers captain, and Igor Shesterkin was a wall. Stopped all 37 shots for the shutout. The Rangers need Shesterkin to be godlike if they want a full bounce back this year. He looks dialed in early, which is great for New York. Connor Bedard is also humming here to start the season. Spencer Knight was my standout in Game 1, but Bedard still generated some solid chances and looked notably faster than he did last year. They got Boston. He's sitting pretty in the circle and absolutely wires one for his first of the year. Just an FU type of release, world beater. However, this one would need OT, and Jonas Korpisalo puts on a show. First, he robs Frankie Nazar, says nah-uh, and then seconds later, Bedard on a B-way. Nope. Korpisalo's feeling glovely. He snags that bad boy and keeps
feeling glovely. I like that.
Come down on a 2-0. It's the rookie Fraser Minton. He buries another Leaf prospect that'll probably turn into a dog for Boston. The Bruins are 2-0 on the year. So are the Panthers. Shocker. They got Philly, who has Rick Tocchet debuting as their head coach. Darth Vladar is the chosen one. Poor guy was like Goldberg in the Mighty Ducks, just strapped to the post, facing 34 shots from the Cup winners. Brad Marchand, the Rat King, ends up whipping one from Jupiter. It goes under the bar. That's the game winner. No Barkov, no Kachuk, don't matter. Panthers win. Everyone's mad because they're bad and they can't keep up with the Cup champs. Now, 2 teams in the Atlantic who could really make some noise is Tampa and Ottawa, and they're starting it with a bang. First, it was a heavyweight tilt between the 2 Curtises, Curtis McDermott and the 6'9" behemoth Curtis Douglas. Yeah, Douglas, first NHL shift, wants to drop him. Love it. Get this guy a beer. Then Sabrango and Lilleberg get in on the action. No one is given an inch in this game. Kachuk is taking on 3 guys at once. Things are off to a hot start, back and forth. Kucherov 2-goal night, but it's Shane Pinto. The Pinto parlay says he's Johnny on the spot in the final minutes to give Ottawa the lead and take it 5-4. Every Atlantic Division match is going to be a war this year with how close that division is. I really like the Sens' depth and system, mostly because it mirrors that of Florida, but I think they can take another step here if Allmark isn't another disaster. On to the marketing wet dream that is Columbus versus Nashville. After stroking a bunch of checks in free agency last year, the Preds became the most expensive.
These 2 teams that I probably never actually watched, Columbus and Nashville.
Retirement home in the league, and it royally sucked. This year, everyone's expecting them to be the same, but that's why we play the games, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan O'Reilly goes top bunk where Mama hides the cookies. UC Saros was locked in, stopping 37-38. Preds beat the Blue Jackets, who are also looking to take a step this year, but they lose game 1. Then send in the Juggernauts out west. 2 teams who can win the Central, and the Jets and Stars go at it for game 1. Jets fans have a lot to be excited about, though. Jonathan Toews makes his return to hockey after finding himself in India, and Kyle Connor signed an 8-year extension at
He's in India?
Return to hockey after finding himself in India, and Kyle Connor signed an 8-year extension at $12 million a season. Show that man the money, and he comes right out to get a hattie. The Stars had a 5-1 lead at one point in this game.
I'm earning this money.
He's still in playoff mode. That'll change as the season goes on, but the Jets fall short of the comeback as Dallas holds on to the win 5-4. The Moose, Mikko Rantanen, had 3 points, by the way. A full camp in Dallas and no contract distraction could mean a huge year for him. Speaking of contracts, Kirill Kaprizov will become the highest paid player in the NHL next season, making $17 million a year. Buddy better be figuring out the theory of relativity in Minnesota for that kind of money, but this is the type of game that makes you think, all right, maybe it ain't all that bad. The Karelianaire puts up 3 assists on opening night. Brutal start for the Blues, who were one of the hottest teams in the league last season after the Four Nations, but the Wild looked like defensive juggernauts that they were in the first 30 games of the previous year. Philip Gustafson gets the shutout, Wild win, and post-game beers are certainly on Kirill the Thrill. It is also a new era in Utah. They retire their Premier League name in the Utah Hockey Club, and they have officially become the Mammoth. Utah was one of the best rush teams in the league last year. They have a ton of talent, and the expectations is playoffs this year, but they got to start against the Avs. Dylan Gunther sets the tone for Utah, but the Nate Dogg responds. That right there's the game winner. Scotty Wedge with a whole lot of wooden net was lights out. 32 saves, first star. Avs are looking dangerous out the gate here. On to Vancouver, where there's a lot to be excited about after a disastrous season last year. The locker room appears to be drama-free, but more importantly, Demko seems to be fully healthy, and it showed tonight. Hedl also looked great. 2 tucks, how are ya? 5-1 beatdown on the Flames. I like Vancouver to bounce back this year, especially if Hughes is also healthy for a full 82. That being said,
that was... Bro, I never knew the Canucks had jerseys like that. Those are tough.
5-1 beat down on the Flames. I like Vancouver to bounce back
Vancouver,
this year,
and I was like, dang, Canucks with those jerseys for sure. That's tough.
That being said, there's a lot of teams this season that could be way better than they were last year, and one of them is the Ducks. New coach, kids are coming into their own. Beckett Seneke is scoring his first NHL goal on his first shift. Things look good. Ducks could be fun this year, but Seattle is sick of being mid. Joey Decord, 35 stops. New guy in town, Mason Marchment, gets the game winner, crack and win 3-1. Good start for them. Then finally, it's the 2026 future Stanley Cup champion San Jose Sharks going up against the Vegas Golden.
Okay, bro. Listen, it's funny because the Sharks were the worst team in the league last year, but they got potential. Now, I don't know about the Stanley Cup, but they got potential.
Nights. Buckle up for this. Sharks are up 3-2 late in the third. They're shutting down Vegas in the neutral zone. Empty cage. Sir William Eklund, all he has to do is just put it home, and he can't do it. Gets a wraparound, but it's stuffed. Eichel comes the other way, is forced to dump it in. Nedeljkovic goes to front it. No! The Vesa Toskala special just bounces right by him. Vegas ties up the game off a dump-in. That right there is our SeatGeek goal of the week. Just a snipe from center ice, beer league style. The torture isn't over yet for San Jose. To OT we go. Nedeljkovic goes for the encore. Comes out to play the puck. Whoop! Caught with your pants down.
No! What are you doing? No!
To play the puck. Whoop!
No! Somebody explain this to me. Why would he need to come out that far to play the puck?
OT we go. Nedeljkovic goes for the encore. Comes out to play the puck. Whoop! Caught with your pants down. He's 2 to 3 business days away from the net. Riley Smith puts it in, and the Sharks lose in the most Sharks way possible to end the first wild night of hockey in the NHL. Now, of course, like I said earlier, there was no games on Friday, which is absolutely ridiculous for the first week of hockey. So here's a picture of Gary Bettman to represent Friday's lack of hockey in general. However, that does mean that Saturday is absolutely bananas. 16 games, all 32 teams. You thought Thursday was packed? Well, get ready for this. Jets versus Kings kick us off, and not even 10 minutes in, we're throwing punches. Remember what I said about Hellbuck being in playoff form? Yep, he's telling me to shut the hell up in this one. 30 saves, Mark Scheifele, 2 tucks, including the winner. Jets want to own the league again, and this looked more like him from last year. Kings are already 1-2. Everyone looked at their signings on D this offseason, said yikes, and so far, it's no bueno. Then a little midday action between the Flames and Blues, and how about this? Open net, the Wolfpack says, here's a paddle for you, you silly goose. Nice try, pal, but that's an early save of the year candidate. Tell your neighbor about that one, but don't bother.
Wait, what was
pal,
that?
But that's an early save of the year. Pack says, here's a paddle for you, you silly goose. Nice try, pal, but that's an early save of the year candidate.
Wow.
Tell your neighbor about that one, but don't bother telling Jake Neighbors. He got 2 goals in this game, and he helped St. Louis pick up their first dub on the season. Now, if you didn't see, Sabres fans are already crashing out after getting shut out in Game 1, and I don't blame them one bit. In the first 20 minutes against Boston, they outshot them 16-1 in the first period. Holy smokes, are they bad. They did score, but it didn't matter. Boston ends as Week 1 wagons going 3-0. That's surprising. Turns out Tampa wants to be asleep at the wheel to start, too. Jersey was up 3-0 by the end of the first in this one. Luke Hughes already has 4 points in 2 games. Devils take care of business, and the Lightning allow 5 goals in back-to-back games. Bag skate coming up for the fellas.
Wow.
Meanwhile, the Rangers get to double dip with the Penguins. Mike Sullivan gets a tribute, holds back the waterworks, and then says that's enough. 6-1 spanking as revenge for opening night. Adam.
Okay.
Shesterkin has been a wall so far. Only 2 goals allowed in his first 3 games. Start spreading the news. The Rangers could be back. Over on Long Island, Ovi is back to absolutely trucking, guys. 250 of Russian machine, buddy. He's still looking for his first of the year, but not the kid. Matthew Schaefer just lurking in the weeds. He sees the loose puck. He goes sliding in with the diving Pocahontas. That's his first career NHL goal. The Island start chanting his name. What a week for the guy. He played 26 minutes in this game, probably because the Islanders' defense are so bad, but he's looked fantastic to start his career. Caps win 4-2, though. The Belarusian bear, Alexei Protas, with a tidy 3-point performance. Then an original 6 matchup between the Habs and Hawks means let's get physical. Frankie Nazar has been great early on, but then boom.
Oh my
Northbound
goodness.
on the southbound freeway, look out, clean hit. So in the modern NHL, that means everyone's got to drop them. 2 scraps going on. At the same time, everyone grab a guy, mix in a couple of chirps, and then keep her going. This one's tied 2-2 in the dying seconds of the third. Spencer Knight loses his stick.
Ooh, good save.
Throws one on net. It finds a way, and the Habs steal one. Side note, Zach Bolduc for the Habs is looking like a steal early on this season. What a pickup for them. It is also unfortunate that I have to inform everyone that the Panthers are still an unstoppable force. They roll over.
It's like, bro, it is kind of wild, though. It is kind of wild. Like, you can talk about, like, all these other teams and how they're doing and their potential, and then you come to the team that's won 2 Stanley Cups back-to-back, and they're just finding ways to win games.
Over the Senators 6-2, went 3 for 5 on the power play, and the goddamn Rat King Brad Marchand scores again. The Cats are dogs. They stay undefeated. Now, we may just be a game into the Red Wings season, but Coach Todd McClellan decided to speed run the inevitable team call-out press conference. It is year 1,000 of the Yzer plan. Guys have been here forever, and now's the time to get going here. Down 2-0 in the first, it's a fantastic time to play the Maple Leafs. Patty Kane turns back the clock, goal. 2 assists, comeback win. Parade's canceled in Toronto, but at least they got the Jays. And we didn't even make it through 1 week, and we already got our first goalie interference controversy. Bobby Brink takes it to the rink, buries the OT winner. Philly wins. Nope. Give Gary Bettman a call. It's goalie interference. Sanheim brushes Freddie. Goals called back. Seth Jarvis tucks and says, now you guys can leave. And it's just been a bad week for Philly sports teams. It's time to check in on the soon-to-be richest man in hockey, the Karillionaire, Kaprizov. 2 goals and an assist, but he wasn't even the best Kirill in this game. Kirill Marchenko got a hattie for Columbus. He had a monster year last season, and I expect more this year. The Blue Jackets offense was humming in this one. They put up 7 against Minnesota in the win. Next up was the Ice Age matchup between the Mammoth versus Predators. Nashville's roster is as old as the Ice Age, and the youth of Utah shined. Cooley, McBain, and then Dylan Gunther for the win. OT net drive, and a nice little reminder for Saros to close his damn legs. First win in Mammoth history. It's also time for the return of the Moose. Last time Rantanen played his old team, he put up a hattie in Game 7 and sent them to Bora Bora for the summer. This one, though, the big boys were again eating for the Avs. Natchez and McKinnon are a heart attack on skates. Those two operate at a completely different speed than everyone else on the ice. 3 points each for them in this game, and yet, somehow, Jake Ottinger was better. OT, he robs Natchez with the leather, shuts the door on the shootout, has 35 saves on the night, and of course, the shootout winner ends up going to Mikko Rantanen. It's the trade that keeps on haunting for Colorado. Now, personally, I haven't been fired up for a Ducks versus Sharks game since 2014, but damn it, we're back, baby. What an absolute barn burner we had here, folks. Back and forth trading goals. The PETA guy from Sausage Party and Chris Kreider is now a Duck and down by one. He gets his second of the night in the final minute to tie the game. It was 6-6 going into OT, because why the hell not?
6-6?
Uncle Will Carlson has a 2-on-1. He rips it so fast, Askarov doesn't even move. That's all she wrote, because the Ducks fly together. Then on to Seattle, where if you haven't picked up Pavel Dorofeyev yet in fantasy hockey, you are sleeping at the wheel. Guy scores again. He already has his 5th of the season. Every Vegas game so far this year has needed overtime, but Jared McCann is home alone in front, eats a trip from Marner while tucking one, crack and win it. And then finally, it was Vancouver versus Edmonton. Evander Kane comes back.
Hey, what's Vegas' record right now? What's Vegas' record? Are they 0-2?
Back to play his old team and tells Regula, watch where you're going, kiddo. Just levels him. Also, we got to piss test some of these goalies in week 1. Look at this. On the doorstep, Leon Draisaitl, the German surgeon, wide open net. Thatcher Demko says, nah, doing the dirty bird on his belly and everything. He just picks that one out of the air. This game could have been uglier if it wasn't for Demko. 34 saves on 36 shots, but the Oilers find a way, and Calvin Pickard picks up the first dub for Edmonton to end the first chaotic week of hockey. So, what did you think of week 1? Who surprised you? Who pissed you off? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you're new to the channel, we do these weekly recaps every single week. So, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We also do breakdowns on teams and players throughout the week, so keep an eye on the channel for that. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.
Wow. If you want to subscribe to Hockey Psychologist, you gotta be. If you're a hockey fan, you gotta be, bro. You gotta be, bro. God makes great videos. That was amazing. That was amazing. Wow. Wow. That was interesting. That was so interesting. Some crazy scores, bro. 6-6, and that what was that? The Ducks and that Ducks and Sharks? Wow. That's crazy. Oh, man. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, though. If you did, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Turn those post notifications on. If you're looking for more hockey content like this, check out the video right here above my head, or hit that profile icon on the bottom right. Stay peaceful, stay positive, stay disciplined, and always, always, always be kind.